All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Monday Market Coin Report. This is for the week ending November 29th, 2020. I'm your host, Sean, with BlueRidgeSilverhound, and today we're going to talk about some of the most relevant post-1900 modern coins to sell this week. Of course, this week, because of just the absence of a lot of the bigger shows that we normally see this time of year. Everything's relegated through great collections, and any pertinent collectible or coin or whatever the case may be has been going through great collections lately. This week, it seems like the floodgates have opened for a lot of just over-the-top coins. Now, we're talking about like some high-end echelon top population coins that were graded and sold this week on GC. You're surely not going to want to miss any of this. Just fever pitch of action. As always, like I tell folks, every single graded coin on here, of course, is consigned by the by GC from the customers that want to sell. Okay, and then as always, these auction companies are looking for the biggest, brightest, and best coins, whether it's for a registry set or just a top pop, older coin, or key dates. Key dates are a big thing. So keep that in mind if you're looking to consign with one of these big auction houses. That's kind of like the standard. The bar has been set at those type of coins. And then, there are some auction houses that are looking for a minimum. Okay, so like $5,000 or something like that in value of coins, and most importantly, okay, there's a lot of like pretty insane modern coins in here. Just heed caution if you're going to attempt to send some of your own coins to PCGS or NGC. It's not easy. I did it for a number of years, and I got lucky, probably less than 1% of the time. The other 99%, I was crying into a river. It was that bad. So, make sure that if you are going to do it, that you are going to be playing with what I consider to be house money. All right, if you got the extra money to do a few coins and send them off to a PCGS or NGC, go ahead and try your luck and see what happens. You never know. You might hit it big with one of these lottery coins that you see on the list. There's really nothing else I want to add. I mean, this is the end of November already. The next report will be through the first week of December. It's just crazy how this year has flown by. But in any event, the chaotic, weird, strangest, set of listings begins right now with the very first coin being a good old 1986 Lincoln Memorial Set. There has to be something pretty extraordinary with this coin for it to make it onto the list. I mean, we're talking about a coin in which many hundreds of millions of pieces were produced. They're not rare by any stretch. However, what if I told you that this was the only Mid-State 69 red PCGS graded example to exist for a 1986 Philadelphia struck Lincoln penny? You guys probably think I'm crazy, but sure enough, this is a Pop 1. No other coins graded finer. There's no 69 plus. There's no 70. I mean, this is it. This is the only coin that exists at the highest level. Now, what does that? What's the big payoff as a result of having the highest graded coin? Well, first of all, the Registry Set participants are gunning for coins like this, and it's a points-based system on PCGS or NGC. These collectors assemble the highest graded pieces at any cost, and to give you an idea, this 1986 sold for $8,718.75. It just seems so, the scales seem to tip so unfavorably when it comes to this amount of money. No one usually thinks that this is a coin that's deserved of any value above maybe $50, just based on the merit of high mintage alone. But high grades, it's a big market out there, and when you're able to attain one, I mean, look how clean this coin looks. It's devoid of any distracting nicks, especially in the fields and the highest points. There might be a tiny little planchet mark or a nick here or so, but this is a relatively clean coin. You are talking about 1 grade point away from perfect 70, so keep that in mind. So I promised to go a little bit quicker. I just wanted to, lay that out there regarding top pops. Here's another good one. It's not a top pop, but it's close. It's a 1983 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This is, of course, one of the most well-known, most coveted modern varieties. Okay, this is a doubled die reverse version, Mid-State 67 Plus full red, and it's also CAC certified, so it's backed by that company, almost like double certification. It's pretty cool. This one right here is sold for $2,088. I believe there's a Mid-State 68, maybe 1 or 2 pieces floating around at that grade level out there that is worth more. Okay, I've talked about it in the past. So much like the 1986, we have another head scratcher. We have a 77. So obviously this is going to be a registry set buy. This one right here is a PCGS Mid-State 68 full red. I mean, it's a good looking coin, if and only if you're into this sort of thing. Now keep in mind, there's absolutely no crossover between investment pieces and registry set. Okay, you're playing off the assumption that you have and own the highest grade piece. Do not try and cross over into investment territory, because like I've told everybody, do not invest heavily in post-1950 coins. Okay, it's a great way to kind of like make some money, but no, this is not one of those coins that you buy today in the hopes that it will be worth 2, 3, or 4 times what you paid for it 10, 15 years from now. Okay, that's not how it works, especially for the ultra-modern stuff. There's just way too many of these out there, and there's a lot of untapped resources for more BU coins just waiting to be cherry-picked. So this one right here in a Mid-State 68 sold for $3,150. So here was kind of like the golden child of the Lincoln Memorial series. For the longest time, the highest grade of this 63D Lincoln Memorial was Mid-State 66 Plus. I mean, it was truly a just condition rarity for the longest time, up until about probably 4 years ago, when the first ever Mid-State 67 finally reared its ugly head. And that was a coin that sold in excess of $10,000. The very first piece to ever sell onto the auction circuit commanded 5 figures, as expected. Now, we have another one right here. This coin actually has dropped quite considerably, okay, based off of just the fever pitch of trying to find one and then send it out for grading. Up to this point, it's a pop 4 with none finer, so there are 4 pieces out there. And even with only 4, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but believe it or not, when you get past like 2, 3, 4 of the same grade at the highest level, the prices begin to drop off quite considerably. Now, keep in mind, a few years back, when that registry set collector bought that example for 5 figures, okay, obviously they had to know that it wasn't going to last, that the coin would depreciate in value. But, again, if you got the extra income and you just have this indispensable amount of money, then it's okay. So to give you an idea of how much this coin, this particular date and mint, have fallen off in the last year or two, this one only sold for $3,737.25. Roughly, like a 62% drop from its highs 3-4 years ago. So it's a considerable drop off in value. Okay, and the same for this one too. It's a 1961, but the Philadelphia struck coins during the 60s were a little bit more well struck up, okay, which is a huge contrast to today, where Denver minted coins are the best quality coins in circulation today. Okay, so this 1961 grades out at a PCGS Mid-State 67 Plus. Full red example, this was a coin like, 5-10 years ago, used to have top pops at Mid-State 67. And then it sold for about the same amount of money that this one sold for. Okay, so at a 67 Plus, it's a pop 2, none finer, and this one sold for $4,612.50. Okay, so the featured coin for this video is no doubt about it going to be this 1943 Lincoln steel cent. Okay, I talk about it all the time. It's because of its unique nature of being a zinc-coated steel planchet. Okay, during the war efforts, they rationed copper. Okay, along with a few other nickel was another one that they rationed for the war efforts. So they went with a one-year type zinc-coated steel cent. And that's why it is one of the most popularly collected coins as a single date in U.S. history. So this 1943 grades out at a blisteringly high mid-state 68 plus. It's also CAC certified. It is a POP 3, so there are two other examples floating around in some collection that I'm pretty sure won't be going anywhere anytime soon. This one right here is also part of the Neon Lights collection provenance. So this is a new provenance that hit the scene this week. We have a number of coins actually on the list that are from the Neon Lights collection. This one sold for $29,250. It's also worth mentioning that this is not the highest reported sale of a 43p. Okay, there was one example that sold on Stack's Bowers a few years back for over $33,000. Okay, but again, this is a coin with a lot of staying power as long as the pops don't flood the 68 plus grade range. But this is just a beautiful coin, and it could either be seen as an investment piece or a registry set. Okay, for this super high end. All right, we're jumping over to nickels. The first one's going to be, again, one of those perennial tough dates for full steps, and it's a 1958 Philadelphia. This one grades out mid-state 66 with full steps by PCGS. These mid-50s nickels are usually lacking in the luster department, which, gives this coin a little bit of a lifeless look to it, but that's normal for any of these dates. This particular coin right here is sold for $2,730.38. And the same goes for this one. Although it's a Denver struck coin, these are a little bit more better struck up because it's from Denver. It's a 56D that grades at mid-state 67 FS. And this one right here is sold for $10,968.75. This is just one of those tough key components to a full steps nickel program. All right, so this is right here another tough date that goes hand in hand with some of those early 60s issues. And then the last Jefferson Nickel on the group is going to be a 45S. This one has that kind of like album peripheral yellowish toning with little hints of like seafoam green in there. This one right here is a PCGS mid-state 67 plus full steps. As you can see, it's got a QA sticker, and what that is it's similar to CAC. It's a independent certification company that just pretty much puts a stamp of approval on the grader's assigned numerical grade on there. So they do agree with the 67 plus full steps. This coin right here is another key component to a Jefferson Nickel collection, and it's sold for $3,093.75. Money is just flying around on today's auction. Here's another one that adds to that tally. And we have a Buffalo nickel, this time a 1938, but not just any 1938. Okay, so it's a one-year type, for the date, only minted at the Denver Mint. However, this one right here features an over mint mark, a D over S. It's a cherry picker's guide variety. It is actually quite common. These are easily cherry picked, but finding one in this particular grade level might be a little bit of a challenge. It's a mid-state 68 by PCGS, and this one right here is a POP 2. So it's the highest grade with no other coins that grade finer. It's sold for $18,000. Okay, can you imagine cherry picking this thing for like $30, $40? You know what it is, and the coin looks great, and then you turn around and send it off to PCGS. It's an incredible story of what could be probably one of the most epic cherry picks and flips in numismatics today. It's dime time, and we got 1949D Roosevelt Dime. It's the only Rosie on the list, but I'm glad to at least talk about one. Keep in mind, Roosevelts are probably fifth on the totem pole when it comes to popularity, over overall design and things like that. But this one right here is a pretty decent looking coin, with the obverse and reverse toning. It's a PCGS Mid-State 68 full steps. Okay, so it definitely has the look of a sharp struck coin. This one right here sold for $1,293.75. Okay, so a dime that I'm personally fond of. I think the toning on this one with the striations on both the obverse and the reverse, and that's all a result of just the environment that this one is kept in to give it this kind of unique toning pattern. But this one right here is a beast. Now, a little something to point out. 41S is kind of a tough date for full strikes. So this, in addition to not only the interesting toning pattern, but also the numerical grade, it's a 68 or 68 plus full bands. So you got the full designated bands and the full splits on all the bands on this one, especially that middle band. That's the most important. This one right here is also CAC certified, and with the toning, Pop 1. That's the highest grade of a 41S out there. This one sold for $34,875. The highest recorded amount of money for this particular date. All right, pretty cool. 39S Washington quarter. Not your prototypical kind of like run-of-the-mill quarter. It's not one of the most readily available in high grades. But this one right here is just an absolute bomb. It's a Mid-State 67 plus. It's just a generally really nice Registry Set coin. CAC certified, and the toning's not bad. It's a little bit on the light side, and kind of splotchy in areas. This one sold for $2,643.75, and this is another Neon Lights Collection provenance piece. We have a pair of Standing Liberty quarters that I wanted to talk about. This is probably one of my favorite series in U.S. coinage. The one that we have here is a relatively common date Standing Liberty. Okay, if you're going to look to find a nice typeset, BU condition type coin, 1930 and 30S, probably your dates of choice. This one right here is a Mid-State 67 full head, so it's got a sharp, beautiful strike on the coin. This is by NGC, by the way. This particular coin brought home $3,825. And the same goes for this 28S. Okay, so this is another relatively obtainable coin in Mid-State 64, 65, probably not with the full head designation. Which, by the way, with full head, you'll have a discernible little ear hole and then the curl of the hair. You'll be able to see all that. Usually on the not so well struck examples, that's all flattened away where you can't see it. So this one right here is also CAC certified, although it doesn't show on the label. The sticker was actually underneath it toward the coin on that slab. And this one sold for $8,406. So it sold for quite a bit more than the 30S. Now, I would venture to guess that if the 30S was CAC certified as well, which it wasn't, that one would have commanded much more money as well. So here's a surprising entrant into this week's MMR, and it's a 1970D. Okay, it's a coin that was never intended for circulation. These were only sold in mid-sets, and that's the only way that you could get them. As a matter of fact, because of that, there were only a few million of these particular coins produced. Okay, in contrast to a 69D or a 68D, which many more millions were produced of those dates, respectively, for the 40% silver composition, rather. This one right here is a super high grade example. It even shows a little bit of some die clashing on the reverse in certain areas. But this again is going to be just a registry set gauntlet. keep in mind, registry sets for candy half dollars is extremely popular. This particular example right here is a PCGS Mint State 67. It's beautiful. It's blast white for what it's worth, so it's got no toning, and some people like this better without the toning. This one right here is sold for $5,906.25. Just simply an unimaginable amount of money for this type of coin. I think a lot of folks would agree with me on that one. And we got one Franklin half dollar. This time it's a 55. All right, so 55 is kind of like your, not exactly a key date, but people knew that it was like any other 55 coin produced, whether it's a Washington quarter or a Roosevelt Dime. These were available in smaller quantities. However, they were always available in high grades. But one thing I could say, 55 was just a year of just horrible soft strikes. And 55 Franklin half dollars were not immune to it either. Okay, so this one has full bell lines, and it's a Mint State 67. So both of those things combined is equally important to this particular date. The toning, is a love it or hate it thing. It's very pastel-y and light in nature, even though it's a little bit more darker on the reverse. It could look a whole lot worse. This one right here is sold for $5,175. And then finally, we are going to end it off on one of my favorites. I love talking about just an old obsolete coin, like Great Depression age, Roaring 20s. We'll look no further. We got a 1927S Walking Liberty half dollar. Just a stunning, stunning coin. It's just beautiful. It's white. It's well preserved. It's got an original skin and luster to it that is just second to none in the marketplace. This one right here is a very middle of the road PCGS Mint State 65 plus. It's also CAC backed. It's not the highest grade. Okay, I want to point that out. This is actually a half a point under the highest. It's actually a pop 28. There are 28 examples of a 65 plus in this date and mint mark, with 10 finer, all of which are 66s. So, this one right here, because of the way the pops are all set up, no doubt about it, is just a huge, huge investment piece. Probably more so than one custom tailored for a registry set. And this one sold for $9,871.88. So we got 18 beautiful stunners. All in all, we have well over $100,000 in just 18 coins. That's really, really a just beautiful amount of money. I'm not personally surprised, even because of, COVID-19 and, we're in the holiday season. I mean, if we were going to expect these kind of just huge numbers from high quality coins, it would be this time of year, as expected. Usually you won't see this during the summer. But, it's just amazing to see that quite a bit of money is being flown out there for some really nice high quality pieces, okay? And some surprising, like moderns, so like post 1950s, certainly have hit headway here recently. So, if you guys have like some of those high quality coins that's been sitting around in an album for, for many generations or whatever, now might be the time to make a move. I don't know. It's completely up to you. But again, heed caution when you use the grading services. It's not for the faint of heart. I've said that once, and I'll say it again. It will really test your fortitude in making sure that your head is on straight by the time it's all said and done. All right, so I wanted to let you guys know that. There's no false hopes here or anything like that. I report it and call it like I see it. Okay, these coins sold for X because of this, and that's what you need to know. All right, and then it's up to you to kind of like just figure things out on your own. Again, I don't recommend modern coin grading to anybody just because of how difficult and just how, it's lottery, man. It's what it is. It is lottery, and you have to embrace it as that. So if you're a gambler, then it might be for you. For everyone else who's kind of like, I really prefer to save my money, then, that would be the other choice. But that's going to do it. Thanks again for watching. Sorry for running my friggin' mouth all whole video. I'm just very impassioned this week because we have a lot of big sales. Some of the biggest of the year. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit that good old bell for some notifications. Thank you, each and every single one of you. You guys take care. Enjoy your Monday. Don't work so hard, and I will see you on the next coin video. All right, take care, guys.